welcome back. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi issued a decree Saturday on the demarcation of the areas adjacent to the western, southern, and eastern border areas of Egypt in an effort to secure them. Prosecutor General Hisham Barakat ordered Tuesday an appeal of the verdict of the retrial of the ousted President Hosni Mubarak and 10 co-defendants citing legal flaws. Christian and Muslim representatives from around 130 countries attended a two-day conference organized by the Grand Sheikh of Al-Azhar. The conference aims at addressing misleading concepts that have led to the spread of terrorism and extremism. And we have joining us today Dr. Salah Abdullah. Thank you so much and welcome, Doctor, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Political analyst.
Dr. Salah, thank you very much for being with us today on Nile Cruise, first of all. But if we start talking about the observations about Al-Azhar conference between Sheikh of Al-Azhar, Dr. Ahmad Al-Tayyib, and of course Pope Tawadros to be discussing extremism, terrorism, jihad, and all those verdicts about Islam and all those teachings about Islam. How did you see it this week?
These meetings normally needed since long time because the problem of terrorism is ideas, false ideas or false thinking, or using the religion to direct the young issues towards closed channels. So what is needed is a new address, new ideas to explain the truth of Islam to our young generations. That's why the effort of Azhar is the most important religious university in the world. It carries the message of Islam to the whole world. For sometimes the role of Azhar was delayed or obstructed by way or another. But now Azhar must have the priority and to do the best, because we need to change the address, the religious address to the not to the Egyptian only, even to the Arab world, because the terrorism is all in the Arab world. The false ideas is all in the Arab world, and it has been not by politicians who are using the religion, what they call political Islamic groups, but also from foreign countries, which find that using the Islam to push the extremes towards destroying their own countries. If we are looking to what's happening in Yemen now, or Iraq, or Syria, or Libya, even in some parts of Algeria, even here in Egypt, we find that people destroying their own countries. How they would be Muslim and he is destroying his own countries? This means that they are living in a dilemma or in false ideas. And this is exactly what is the enemies needed. If you look to Zionists, the Israelis, this is what they need. They want to destroy the whole area to make it just small countries. You know,
Like a model for self-destruction.
yes, what we call the new Middle East or the large Middle East, or it is all Shimon Peres ideas. We want to destroy the countries to small local countries, so it will be the most biggest and strongest country among these, smaller countries. Yeah? So who is helping them? Is many people who are living in extremes. If you look to the address of Daesh, what they say, they will fight America, and they will fight Spain, and after they defeat America, United States, and after they defeat Spain, they will fight Israel. Who can believe that? We need somebody losing his mind to accept.
They're actually destroying Iraq and Syria now.
Destroying Iraq, they are killing as much as possible from the Muslims. The number now, if you look to how many, the number who have been killed in Iraq, or at least handicapped, it's millions. If you look to Syria, millions is outside, and millions died, and millions is handicapped, and the country is destroyed. It needs at least 15 years to rebuild what had been destroyed. And of course, the psychological effect on the person, the human being in Syria, 50 years is not enough to to secure the wounds, the psychological wounds which happened to him. People was living even in Iraq, let us say. Shia and Sunni was married, you find a man Sunni married a lady who is Shia. Now these families have been disputed, separated. Who can again repair all this? Years.
Of course, it will take a very long time. But Dr. Salah, again relating this and to terrorism and combating terrorism back again to Egypt.
Yes.
We have a recent presidential decree that authorized the armed forces to safeguard the areas that are close to the borders by prohibiting individuals to either go over or under the land. Of course, this is implying to the smuggling and the tunnels connecting the town of Rafah to the Gaza Strip. How do you see the developments of the current war that Egypt is launching against terrorism at the moment?
Egypt is doing their own best in that side. Now Egypt is not from Rafah alone and from the eastern border. Egypt is circled. If you look to the Libyan border, if you look to Sudan from the south, we are encircled. Even the sea, what happened in the Mediterranean Sea, give you an idea. They want to jump from all sides. So this law is correct. In that time, you have to protect your borders. You have to have zones which under control of the army completely, so you can control what is going on the borders. You have tunnels from the side of the east. This tunnel is before, when it started, it was used to help the Palestinians to fight the Israelis. So those were national ideas. But after that, it had been changed to, food, medicine, Africans, weapons, drugs, and there is a group of millionaires here and a group of millionaires in the other side, they are practicing this. Never mind. Added to this now, terrorism. Through these tunnels, people can come and do anything in Sinai and run away through this tunnel. So it became now dangerous to the country. So it has to be destroyed completely, and the area must be controlled. Same thing to the Libyan side. Libyan side now, Daesh, the last news today, that Daesh have about 200 members in the eastern of Libya. They are trained there in one camp there. Trained for whom?
For us.
Egypt is the main goal. Egypt is the main goal. They call it the big price. The big price. The big price when they can destroy 2, 3 or 4 countries as they think, or as it was planned before.
If we actually focus on Sinai right now, do you think that the recent presidential decisions by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and of course the Presidential Council for Defense, do you think that announcing the emergency law, announcing a curfew in Sinai has actually decreased the attacks on the army personnel there or not?
Of course, it had been decreased the attacks, and even not decreased the attacks only, the span between the attacks have been prolonged, Before you have, attack every day, every 1 week, but now you can find 2 things. The attacks have been decreased, and the span between the attacks have been became long. Of course, the success is going up. Sinai is very important, and we have to protect Sinai by any way, because there was a plan to create a Palestinian state on Sinai, and Israel want to take all the West Bank. So Israel want to expand and to push the Palestinians into Sinai. So we have to protect Sinai, and we have to create the Palestinian state on the Palestinian land, not in Sinai, to stop the progress of Israel. Because after the Israelis taking the West Bank, they will not stop. We need more land and more land and more land. So Palestinian state is on the Palestinian land is the most important issue to to stop the ambition of the Israelis.
We have seen the implementation of such a plan during the time of Mohammed Morsi.
Yes, of course. It was before Mohammed Morsi, but it became much evident in the days of Mohammed Morsi, because they believe that to create an Islamic state, is something positive. He didn't know that it is a negative. It is negative. And that's why the Israelis and even some